Yeah, hi everybody at YouTube, and I am Michael Buckoff, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all the lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL iBT. And if any of you are thinking of joining my online course, I highly recommend it, of course. And if you do join my course, you will have the opportunity to do speaking and writing practice. And yes, you will get feedback for no extra charge. In fact, during this video right now, instead of just talking and whatever and boring you to death, I'm going to simply start grading practice tests submitted from my online TOEFL students so everybody can see that this is how I interact with my online students. All right, so let's get started. The first student here, she's focusing on the TOEIC, and she wants to improve her business English a little bit more, and that's what I'm helping her with. She's already taken the TOEFL test, and she got a score of 28 on the speaking, but like I said, she now wants to take the test of English for international communication, and I'm giving her some help in that area. Okay, let me go ahead and download her speaking here. Okay, here we go.
Well, in my opinion.
Okay, here we go. Let me go ahead and talk to her for a minute. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Comatop, so I'm going to listen to your response. Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Students should require, or schools should require that students learn how to play a musical instrument. So use reasons or examples to support your answer. So I'm evaluating this in terms of pronunciation, intonation, grammar, vocabulary, cohesion, relevance of content, and completeness of content. So let's see how you did with this one. Okay, here we go.
Well, in my opinion, schools shouldn't require students to play a musical instrument.
Okay.
First of all, playing music is not the basic skill, so students aren't necessarily musically talented. Actually, I was forced to learn how to play the flute when I was a primary school student, which I was terrible at, and I ended up hating music class in later years. In addition, I believe students might want to focus on more practical subjects.
Now that was a good example there. So the example helps illustrate why schools should not require students, because it can be a bad experience.
For instance, students fluent in English are more likely to find a job easier than others in Japan because companies put more importance on the language skills.
Okay, let me check your... Let me see here for a minute, hold on.
Fluent in English are more likely to find a job easier than others in Japan.
They're more likely to find a job. Okay.
Because companies put more importance on the language skills to compete in this international market. I know one of my friends who was really into music and tried...
If you say that to illustrate, you might say, I know one of my friends.
Music classes more than English-related lectures in his college years. He couldn't find any job in the end and finally accepted a low-paying job. For these reasons, I don't agree with the statement that students are required to learn how to play a musical instrument in schools.
Okay, on this one, I mean, if you wanted to, I'm not saying you have to, but you could probably be a little more specific in your topic statement. Try, because in this one it's fairly specific. They should or should not be required because of reason A, B, C, or whatever you think you want to explain there. So I think overall probably could be a little more organized in the beginning, maybe by having a more specific topic statement around which you can frame the body of your response. But other than that, you had several examples and they were relevant to help explain your ideas. You seem to have pretty good control of your vocabulary and your grammar. And your intonation and stress are absolutely perfect. So very good with pronunciation. All right? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and send an email to her right now. Think about that. If you're not sure what it sounds like to score 28 out of 30 on the TOEFL speaking, that is the one right there. That's exactly what you need to do to get that high score. And it wasn't easy for her. A lot of people say, well, she's been speaking English for 20 years. Not really. She practiced over the last year or so, and she really worked hard on her English, and her improvements really show in how she speaks. Okay, let me send her a quick message. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm going to go to the next one now. My goal right now is to grade maybe 5 or 6 speaking practice tests before I go to church. I have church today at 2:30, so I need to work pretty quickly right now. Okay, we go to the next one. Who do we have? The next one is Rafael Serrano. Rafael is completing, it looks like, independent speaking task number 159. This guy's incredible. I have 40 integrated writing practice tests. I have 43 independent writing practice tests. Guess what? He has gone through all of my writing practice tests. He's now using other websites and sending me writing samples from those. This guy's working super hard. Really, really hard. And guess what? He's getting better. So a lot of practice in speaking and writing. If you complete a lot of those practice tests, you will get better. So here's a question that he's actually answering. Let me talk to him for a minute. Hi, Raphael. I'm Michael, and I'm going to listen to your independent speaking number 159. So what is the best gift to give a child is what you're answering, right? Okay, here we go.
There are many great gifts that can be given to a child. I believe that the best gift...
Let me check.
There are many great gifts that can be given to a child. I believe that the best gift to give a child is a pet. I feel this way for two main reasons.
Okay, so you want to give a child a pet.
First, a pet can be very educational. Pets teach children about responsibility because they have to be serious about taking care of them, or they will die. Furthermore, watching a pet grow from an infant to an adult is a wonderful way for children to learn about the stages of life. Second, a pet can be a good friend to a young child. What I mean is
So a pet can be a good friend to a young child.
that children sometimes fight with their friends and family members, but pets are never judgmental. Moreover, children are often left alone by busy parents. Having a pet in the house will ensure that children never feel lonely.
Yeah, I don't know. You might be trying to do a little bit too much there. So I'd recommend focus around just 2 specific points, right? So a pet can be a good friend, and a pet can help children mature or something. So just focus on those 2 ideas and make sure you give several examples to illustrate those points. Okay, so let's go to the rubric. Let's see how you can score in this one. I feel pretty good about it. I think overall you had a very natural sounding intonation and stress. Didn't have any major problems with your speaking. So okay, hold on just a quick second here. Let me click on the rubrics here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, see, I don't really see any problems with delivery, good control of your language use, topic development maybe, limit how much or how many reasons you give, and maybe spend a little more time supporting two of those points. I think that might help out a little bit, but I think overall this is a good response on your part. I'm going to put you at about 24 to 26 points out of 30, 3.1 to 3.3 out of 4. So good job. So this is his daily speaking task for January 27th. I'll check my email tomorrow. I'm not kidding you. I'll have one more. This guy does writing and speaking practice every day. The motivation of this student is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And his improvement is remarkable. And that just goes to show you, the more you practice, the better you're going to get. That's the key. And remember that for TOEFL speaking, it's not just watching a bunch of videos. You actually need to complete some speaking practice tests. And you want to get some feedback and see how you're doing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and send him a quick message. And I'll go to the next speaking practice here. There we go. So his is done. I got 2 done so far. I will go to the next one. Okay, let's see what we have here. Okay. Okay, we are ready. Okay, here we go with Khaled. So he's doing integrated speaking practice test number 18. Yeah, hi there, Khaled, and this is Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer. So I'm going to listen to your integrated speaking practice test number 18. So let's see how you did with this one. Okay, here we go.
The speaker talks about
Now, can you make your recordings a little bit louder? You have to go in there and adjust it in your control panel on your computer. Like I have it turned up all the way, but it's still not very loud, or not as loud as it should be. All right, here we go. Let's see.
in the lecture, the speaker talks about the most important events surrounding the sinking of Titanic. First, he started with
Okay, the sinking of the Titanic. This is a tough one. The difficulty with this lecture is this. There's a lot of information in that lecture that you listen to. However, what you need to do is you need to focus on which parts of the lecture explain about why maybe the ship sank. That's what you're trying to focus on.
in the lecture, the speaker talks about the most important events surrounding the sinking of Titanic.
That, I liked how you structured it in the beginning. That's an excellent way to begin it. Begin your response, then you talk about the first event, second event, third event.
First, he started with talking about how Titanic was inseparable and powerful. Then he talks a little bit about when the journey was started in 1912, and the weather was great. There were three level of passengers, and then he talks a little bit about the negligence of some important information that that Titanic operator had received at that night. He says that they got some important message about from California, stating that, by telegraph of course,
Okay.
stating that there were a lot of ice surrounding the ship, but the negligence of these important information had led to breaking the steel of Titanic which led to its sinking.
Right. Yeah, I don't know on this one. I'm going to say that you didn't really adequately explain the different events, right? So maybe, according to the lecture, the ship was traveling a little bit too fast. That might be one factor. Another factor was on the night that the ship sank, it was a very clear sky. It was very calm ocean, which would make it more difficult to spot the icebergs with no waves breaking at the base. Another important point is according to the lecture, the people in the crow's nest did not have their binoculars, which would make it harder to spot the iceberg. Right? So I don't think you really exactly covered all those important points. So what does that mean? That means that your score is not going to be as high as it should be for this kind of speaking task. So again, the main thing here is using your notes. I think you could have presented this information in a more organized, a more complete response. You could have done a little bit better in that area. So your score here, I'm going to put you at about 2.5 out of 4, 19 points out of 30 on this particular practice test due to some incompleteness of content. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and send him a message. So that's the hard part really with TOEFL speaking, especially with integrated task number 6, is you need to figure out, based on the lecture, what are the most important points about which you should talk in your response. And that's what you want to try to focus on. Okay, I'm going to my next one here in just a minute. All right, let's keep going here. Okay, we keep going. And basically what I'm trying to do here, it's tough because I have a lot of students who complete practice tests. My goal is to give a student feedback within about 24 hours of his or her having completed a practice test. So right now, I'm grading things from yesterday. And then 3 people have completed practice tests today, but I probably won't get to these until tomorrow. So it may take about 24 hours to get your feedback. But remember, unlike a lot of online courses, you never get any feedback. Never. Not a week, not a month, never. So I'm good because I can give that feedback in about 24 hours. Okay, let's take a look at Mohammed. So he's doing some pronunciation practice, it looks like. All right, let's see what he has going on here.
Upon approaching my house, I noticed a broken window.
Okay, let's see how, I'm going to go ahead and check his. Okay, hold on a second. Let's see what we have here. I'm going to go ahead and okay, here we go. Okay, we got it? So let me listen to him now. I need to go ahead and get the recording going here. Yeah, hi there, Mohammed. I'm going to listen to your pronunciation practice. It looks like right now you are doing some practice with thought groups and blending. Right? So let's see how you're doing in this area. Okay, let's take a look at sentence number 1 here.
Upon approaching my house, I noticed a broken window.
Now I would put tone rising on house. Upon approaching my house, I noticed a broken window. You probably don't even have to pause after noticed.
Death Valley, one of the remotest areas in California,
And say Death Valley.
boasts summertime temperatures, which are among some of the hottest in the world.
Right, again, still got to work on that tone. So Death Valley, one of the remotest areas in California, boasts summertime temperatures which are among some of the hottest in the world. Okay, let's keep going. We continue onward. Okay, here we go.
Born in Atlanta on January 15, 1929, King had family rooted in the African American Baptist Church.
Okay.
Political satire, found in newspapers across the U.S., is aimed at prominent leaders such as the President, governors, and the leaders of Congress.
Good job on the items there, the president, governors, and leaders of Congress. So you did pretty well with reading those items. I think so. That was good.
A cousin of Charles Darwin, Sir Francis Galton, was interested in the measurement of intelligence because he wanted to increase it through selective breeding.
Okay, you're getting there. So the thing you still need to work on is you need to work on, at the end of each thought group, the tone needs to go up a little bit. Then when you get to the final thought group, you want to drop your intonation a little bit. That's where you need some practice. So number 5, I might say this. You might say, a cousin of Charles Darwin, Sir Francis Galton, was interested in the measurement of intelligence because he wanted to increase it through selective breeding. Something like that. All right, thank you for doing your pronunciation practice for today. Keep it up. Remember for you, intonation, intonation, intonation. This is the one that you really want to keep focusing on. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and send him a quick message. There we go. Okay, we're okay there. All right, I'm going to go to, I think I have one more here I want to try to get done. Yeah, the last one I want to grade today will be everything from Saturday, and then everybody who did them today, I'll probably grade them tomorrow. So again, it's about 24 hours. I usually cannot get to your speaking practice test exactly the same day. Okay, here we go. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Anna Karen, and I am Michael Buckoff, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL iBT. Wow, you are not wasting any time. You joined my course yesterday. You sent a speaking practice test yesterday, and I'm getting to it today. And that's kind of how it works. Usually it'll take me about 24 hours to grade your practice test. I'm not able to get to them exactly the same day. All right? So let's download your response. I like how you're using, I think you're using your phone, it looks like, so a very small file. That makes it really easy to listen to. All right, listen to the whole thing here.
I personally think that you shouldn't be completely honest with your friends for several reasons. The first reason is because you can make other people feel bad and hurt their feelings. For example, if my sister asks me if she looks fat, and she does, if I tell her the truth, she'll get sad or she will get mad at me. So I would prefer to lie to her. The second reason is because you can actually make people feel good if you lie to them. For example, using the same example with my sister, if I tell her that she looks great and she doesn't look fat, she will be happy instead of mad.
Okay, now let's listen to it again one more time. And I like to listen to it sometimes for the first time to get a general idea of how you approached it. Now, what I want you to do is, when you send these things by email, tell me what practice test number it is. Is this number 1? Is this number 10? Is this number 15 or whatever? So,
I personally think that you shouldn't be
number 1, know you. So just say, personally, I think it's better to, so there's no reason to use the you or the your point of view. In pretty much all independent and integrated speaking tasks, you will not need that you or that your point of view. That's that second person point of view.
completely honest with your friends for several reasons.
Now, it's not a good idea to say for several reasons, so you should not, right, be completely honest, right? So if you want to be a little more focused in the beginning, you might say something like this: to protect their feelings and to boost their self-esteem, it is not good to be completely honest with my friends all the time. Then you'll say, first of all, I do not want to be completely honest with my friends because I can actually boost their self-esteem. Then you give an example there. It says, second of all, I also think it's important to not be completely honest because you state that support point, you follow that with an example, so you have a little bit tighter organization there. So the for several reasons thing, Anna Karen, that's kind of like a template. It's a memorized sentence that many students use, and it's not going to help you very much.
The first reason is because you can make other people
Now, I would say, first of all, I do not want to be completely honest with my friends because
feel bad and hurt their feelings. For example, if my sister asks me if she looks fat, and she does, if I tell her the truth, she'll get sad or she will get mad at me.
Okay, that's a good example, by the way.
So I would prefer to lie to her. The second reason is because
No, second reason is, no, say secondly, I also do not want to be completely honest with my friends because, so make sure when you move from your first to your second support point, you want to restate the question a little bit. So then we keep everything organized and your purpose is clear.
you can actually make people feel good if you
Is I can actually make people feel good.
lie to them. For example, using the same example with my sister, if I tell her that she looks great and she doesn't look fat, she will be happy instead of mad.
Okay, so overall, the next step is what is your score and why? The good thing is, believe it or not, you actually have pretty good delivery. You're speaking loudly, you're speaking clearly, you actually have a fairly natural intonation. I like it. So it's pretty good there. Language use, I don't like how you're sometimes shifting into that second person singular, or that second person singular point of view, that you or the your thing. I'd rather you focus on the I, me, or my, or the he, she, or it point of view. That means, excuse me, Anna Karen, that means that the first and the third person point of view is going to be better, right? That's kind of what that means. All right, let's keep going. Okay, now further looking at the rubrics here, topic development, I think this is a category I'd like you to improve in a little more. So as you're moving from your introduction, I want you to create a more focused introduction. Go to speaking lesson 2, speaking lesson number 7, and you can get some great tips on how to organize your ideas a little bit better. I think that will be helpful also. Your score here, I don't think it's a terrible response. I'm going to put you at about 2.83 out of 4, 22 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. All right? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and email her my comments. Now, one thing that I promise you, anybody at YouTube, if you guys decide to join my online course, one thing that I will do is I will not lie to you. If your speaking is good, it's good. If it's not, I will tell you what your problems are. I will be very direct, and I can be very helpful. Like in the my last comments, I told Anna Karen specifically 2 lessons that she can focus on in order to get better. So if she studies those lessons and she incorporates those things into her next speaking response, guess what? She's getting better. And pretty soon she'll be ready to take the TOEFL exam, and she will be able to get 26. And that's how it works. All right, let me go ahead and send her a quick message. And there we go. So at least right now I set a goal. I graded all of my speaking practice tests that were sent to me yesterday. So that's what I wanted to try to get done in this video. Thank you guys for watching. For more information, if you'd like to learn about my online TOEFL course, you can go to, guess what? OnlineTOEFLcourse.com. Very